The dog days are over.
I've gotta break my leg.
Also, I just want to say, golf is fucking tight.
I told you that before, you dipshit.
Golf is so sick.
And then you're like, bro, you should golf. And they're like, hey, fuckface, I do golf.
Why? One, I didn't know that. Two, I was very drunk. So even if I did know it, sober Tyler might have known it. Drunk Tyler didn't know.
Wedding, we went golfing the morning of.
See, that sounds like the life. Like, I always thought golf was like just like a rich white guy sport. And then I tried it and I'm like, this is way fucking cool.
It can be a rich white dude sport if you're a cunt.
But you don't
Like, if
have to
you're-
be a cunt. That's which is the best part.
Yeah, you can just go have fun, drink some beers, golf.
And like, I'm
And it's
awful
really
at golf.
just like, it's peaceful. You
Yeah,
fucking
it's
put
just
your phone
serene.
away. Yeah.
I didn't even have my phone on me. All I had in my pocket was like a handful of golf balls because I was losing them left and right.
You probably suck. Golf's something that you need to play consistently to be good.
Yeah,
Or
it turns out
frequently.
the very first time doing it, not very good at it.
Yeah.
Like right around the end of the first 9 holes is when I started to like figure it out. I feel like that's where the consistency comes from, right? Where it's just like
No,
you
because
hit
some
these
people are
clubs
like,
so many times so you know the distance.
well, like you can get charts like, okay, if you're this far away, you should be using this club. And then it's like, okay, if you need loft, use this club instead. Or if you need to go over trees, try to punch it through trees.
Well, that's just where you using the clubs. Because like, sure, like there's
That's literally just playing. Like,
that's just,
playing,
you just have to be
will
able
get you
to
that.
play your clubs like the
Yeah.
way they are. Because like the way that I hit like a 9-iron and the way that you hit a 9-iron are going to be very different.
Yes.
Just because we're two different people, which is so sick. Golf and Magic are kind of a lot alike in that
Yeah,
way.
it's repetition.
And he's like just
knowing it in and out.
yeah, you just have to like get the thing, and then once you get the thing, then you're good to go. My petition to have more Magic players play golf, or more golfers play Magic. I don't know.
Both.
Why not be insert? Why not both me?
Yeah.
What is up, good boys and girls? Welcome back to another episode of the Fetch and Shock podcast. I am your host, Protection from Demons and Dragons, Tyler, and joining me, as always, is a phased out creature, Matt. Matt, what's up, man?
Not a whole lot, dude. What's going on?
Oh, you know, just sitting down to record the podcast a day late.
Yeah, that's your fault, you drunkard.
Yeah, 1,000% my fault. Okay, listen, here's the thing.
I was actually because my nap went unexpected.
Oh, so we got shared blame. It was mostly my fault, but like
No,
also,
because
like,
I
30%
woke my
your fault.
ass up. I woke my ass up, and I was gonna do it. I just wasn't upset that we.
Okay. Because, like, I could have been responsible and been a good Magic content creator and, like, you know, like, kept to my schedule and, like, went and did the thing and then got back and then didn't do, and, like, did the podcast. Instead, I went and had too many beers and then, yeah, I didn't get home too much later.
It happens.
I'm going to say that I don't know if this was the first time that this has happened for us. I'm assuming it will not be the last.
Guaranteed not.
Can you think of another podcast out there, or just even just content in general, that got delayed by a day because one of the members just got too drunk?
I'm sure it's happened, but not very frequent, is my
In the
guess.
Magic community, I think we might be a rare bird.
Yeah, I can believe that.
But here's the thing: me being irresponsible gave us another entire day of spoilers to talk about. So if anything, I did it for the people. I got drunk for the people.
That sounds like something a drunk would say.
But still technically right.
Not technically wrong. I don't know if it's right.
I will take technically not wrong.
It's a gray area.
Listen, I'm trying to live in that gray area right now.
Live in the gray.
Anything that takes me away. Oh yeah, wasn't that a shirt that we were supposed to wait?
Yeah, life is
in the
gray. Yeah.
Fetch and Shock merch coming 2021 probably. I don't know. Maybe earlier. If we do merch at some
Speaking
point.
of merch, Dennis, I promise you I'm sending your thing out. I just haven't yet.
Oh, I thought you
I've-
fucking sent it out, you piece of shit.
No, I've just been stupid busy, in and out of town, working. Haven't
That's
been
true.
able
You
to
were
go
out of town
and
this
drop
entire
it
week.
off. Not the
Yeah.
entire week, but
Most of the week.
yeah. I
Okay,
will get
so
there,
we're
I promise you.
We're both culpable for this podcast shortcomings, is what you're trying to say.
I mean, who else would it really be on?
I guess nobody else besides you and I are responsible for this turn, so
Yeah.
we're the only two fuck-ups who can fuck this up.
I'm sure if we tried, we could blame someone else, but
Corey,
that's fucking Corey's fault. Friggin'
always
California.
it is really just the West Coast's fault in general. I'm not saying just Corey. I'm saying the entire West Coast.
Nope, it's just Corey's fault.
All right, fine, that's fine. If we want to make him the grand scapegoat of the Fetch and Shock podcast.
Oh, I thought he was already.
Oh yeah, but now
Whoops.
right now is just where he gets his official label.
Yeah.
That's going to be our first piece of Fetch and Shock merch. It's just
Blame
going to be a shirt
Corey.
that says it's Corey's fault and just have his fucking face just plastered on the front of it.
I'm fine with that. That sounds pretty cool.
That'd be so good. Maybe we should get some merch going at some point. All of these ideas are so good.
They're terrible, but it's fine.
No, 0 people would buy them except for us. You and I would have like 4 shirts that nobody would get, and we'd wear them to like a GP or something. People would be like, what is that?
What does blame Corey mean? Blame Corey, bro.
It's read the shirt, idiot. It fucking reading the shirt explains the shirt.
Or TFS.
The time-honored tradition of reading the fucking cards. God damn it. Well, I guess we could talk about, Magic stuff at this point. But before we spoilers,
I suppose so.
Let's talk about something that I spent some time this week not arguing, because everybody was making the same points, and we were just discussing how stupid it was. The suspension announcement that we got this week for Historic. And I guess the issue people were taking with this was not that the card that was suspended should not have been suspended. I think people were fine with the choice that Wizards made. It's the way that they did it that was kind of shitty and kind of double backed on
everything they've said in the last year.
You're right. Something that they put in place specifically for scenarios like this. So for those of you out there who don't really care about Historic or didn't see this announcement, earlier this week on June 8th, Wizards put out a suspension update for the Historic format, which is a format that's only on really Magic Arena. And they suspended a card. Essentially what suspension is too, for people who don't know that the format. Suspension is essentially a card being banned, but it's like partially banned instead of permanently banned. So suspended cards they can take off of suspension and onto suspension. And I'm assuming that word is very important if we're going to be talking about the gray area that we were working with it. So Winota, Joiner of Forces, was announced to be suspended from the Historic format. And this is coming off the coattails of a ban and restricted announcement a week prior.
Well, let's go back a little bit. They said that they would always, moving forward, they would give a week for any BNR announcement.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm assuming they're pulling their loophole from. They said a week for a ban and restricted announcement. This card was suspended.
So those cheeky fucks were like, "Oh, it's technically not banned."
Yeah, exactly. This is a actually coming from Wizard. They are the person in the Twitter feed that when somebody makes a point and they miss a small little fact, Wizards is the person that comes up behind and says, "Oh, well, actually, it wasn't 5%, it was 4.8%. Like, the Wizards just did one of those.
One of those shits, yeah.
Fucking actually move. Hate that shit. But yeah, so, like you said, Wizards had set that precedent of, we do the announcement for the announcement, a week later you get the announcement. Boom, easy. Not everybody loved it. You and I both were in the camp of, just give us the banned card, call it a day. But they put it in place and they were following it, and we just got to live with that decision. Until now, where they just dropped this Historic ban with no notice whatsoever. And people assumed that since it was not suspended in the previous ban and restricted announcement, that this deck was going to be kosher moving forward.
Yeah.
So people went out and invested their wild cards in their Magic Arena currency to building this deck.
This is strictly for an arena format, correct?
That is correct. So,
that's what I thought.
People aren't really spending money per se on these cards, but they are spending resources that they either earned, or I'm sure there's people out there who just jammed packs, like bought gems or coins, used those gem and coins to get packs, and then opened packs until they either got the wild cards or got the cards in order to build this deck. Because I'm sure there are people out there that definitely do that because they don't want to spend the time grinding.
Guarantee, yeah.
So them just completely throwing out their previously set standard for how they're going to do things and just fucking say, hey, this is our decision now. That's pretty shitty of them.
Yeah, like, just keep it consistent. That's all we're really asking for.
And if they really want to be the people who like want to do the go back and like find the loophole where it's like, this was suspended, not banned or restricted, fine, sure. I think it would be fair to the player base, whether it's a paper player base or an exclusively digital player base, if they were a little bit more transparent with how they were going to do these things.
Yeah, instead of just saying, just kidding, because that's really what they've done.
Yeah, agreed. And then also coming from a week of Magic where we're in spoiler season. Spoiler season, I think overwhelmingly throughout the year is the most positive time on social media for Magic the Gathering. Like the sky could be falling the week before spoiler season. The second spoiler season hits, new cards are getting thrown at you left and right from a million different content creators, and you're getting to see like new content creators make videos and release cards and stuff like that. And you're getting to see brand new cards or sweet reprints and stuff. And people get stoked about that, and the positivity is overflowing on social media in Magic community. This just kind of fucking was just a blemish on this week.
Yeah. Yep. And people were kind of annoyed and pissed off, and I really don't blame them. No, granted, this affects me
so.
in no way whatsoever. I could frankly give a shit, but it is kind of shitty that they're just like, whatever, we're going to do it anyway.
Well, and even
the worst, I think the worst part is right after a ban restricted enough.
That is 100% the worst part. I can understand if it was a couple weeks of Historic being dominated by Winota, and Wizards just be like, okay, this is like an emergency ban for this card so people can actually enjoy this format.
Yeah, we need to take an emergency action.
I can get that, but you can still do that with an announcement to the announcement and wait the week. That'd be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, because honestly, that's what they still did before. When they did the announcement for the announcement, I mean, companions were blowing every format up, ruining it. And they still did the announcement for the announcement and had a dead format for a week. People just waiting with bated breath on what was going to happen with the companion. We all knew that they were going somewhere or getting changed somehow. We just didn't know how, and we were waiting a week for it.
Yeah, well put.
So thanks, Wizards. For Wizards listening to us, they really don't listen to us that well.
They need to start doing a better job, for sure.
Or maybe, no, this was Wizards listening to us. They're just dumb. We told them time and time again, just give us the bans. And they're like, oh, Fetch Truck Boy said, just give them the bans. Here you go. Just
here's the fucking bans. Get after it.
Wizards, you did a good job of listening to us, but just like let other people know that you're listening to us so that everybody knows that the bans are just going to come out. So it's not a surprise to everybody.
Well put, sir.
Now we just know that when we say things, we have to really concretely frame it out so that there's no misconstruing that Wizards has like some kind of weird area to fuck it up.
You know they'd fuck it up, right?
Because again, this is just proving that they're listening to us.
Figure it out.
You know what else is some proof that Wizards is listening to us?
What's that?
Some of these Core Set 2021 spoilers.
Whew, they are potent.
Yes, sir, they are. Holy shit.
For a core set, too. Let's keep that in mind. This is a core set.
You're right. And like think about the sets that have happened in the past couple of years. Even just let's think about it in the sets that have happened in 1 year. I can think of only one set in the past year that I received a text from you in the middle of the day, out of the blue, saying, dude, this set is nuts. And that was Modern Horizons was the last time I got one of those texts. Yeah. You sent me a text this week saying, holy shit, Core Set 2021 is busted.
There's just so many good cards in it.
Yeah, and if we want to take a little look back to last week, go back in time, some of
that was
these...
a great time capsule noise, by the way.
That is going to be my time traveling sound
A+.
for the duration. That's my Teferi impression.
You're double dipping.
But going back to last week.
Hey, real quick, do it backwards.
I can't do it backwards. It's an exhale, or it's an exhale. I can't do it. It's the same sound backwards.
What's that called? An onomatopoeia? No, what's that? What are those words called? Like race car rather.
Yeah, where it's the same, like mom or wow.
Dad,
it's the same forward backward.
Hannah, depending on spelling.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know.
Derailed.
Yeah, that was an official derailment. No, but last week we went over some of our guesses for the cards that we thought were going to be in the set, just from the teasers that Mero put out. Some of them we fucking nailed, man.
Some of them. Can't remember exactly which ones, but definitely some of them.
Well, let's go over some of the spoilers. We're going to do it in Wooburg order because we're finally figuring out a more effective way of going through spoilers. Starting with white, one of them that we nailed last week was Baneslayer Angel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The big, bad, mythic rare French vanilla Baneslayer Angel. Oh man, this is such a great inclusion for a core set.
It's just strong. It's fine in standard. Like that's not in modern beyond.
Is there a card in this set that you pick over Baneslayer in limited?
I don't believe so, but I also haven't. That's what we were talking about before. Do you take old
Another-
Dragon Boy
yeah.
or Baneslayer? And I think like that's probably the best. I haven't looked at every card in the set, but that's going to go ahead and be my pack one, pick one.
Yeah, that's my
Windmill
front
Slam
runner for best pack one, pick one.
and limited card. Yeah,
That is just like, whoo, Baneslayer is such a bomb. It just fits so well, like you said, in a standard format. It's not too good, but
it's a good like control finisher.
yeah, for a control finisher, it's great. For like a top end and an aggressive like white base deck, it's really good. Hell, even out of the board, like against the like decks where you need to gain some life or you just need to throw up a big flyer that can just stick them down. And
First
even like
strike and lifelink turns out is real good.
and like who knows, there are some really good dragons that were spoiled in this set too. There could just be a time where your opponent is just playing mono red and just slams some dragons, and you're just like, well, I guess I play this Baneslayer.
Counter it, be like, oh, sorry, bud, I got the trump card.
Well, I'm saying, yeah, you just like Baneslayer just beats those dragons. Turns out.
That's what how much of a kick in the teeth would that be? Say I windmill slam this dragon, turn 5, pass the you go Baneslayer Angel. Can you beat this?
The card that says protection from the thing you did, taste it. It's also a 5/5, and it also is a flyer and has first strike and lifelink.
Lifelink, first strike, and flying. I guess that matters too. Is just ridiculous.
Well, and especially in the world that you're playing against somebody who's playing a dragon. That means they're playing red. That means they're trying to get you dead quick. Lifelink 5/5. That'll swing a game.
Yeah, it races Progenitus, doesn't it? It wasn't that proved in that standard format when they were together.
Yeah, just because it gains the life back, it
While
just starts
knocking them for 5. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Gotta love me a good Bane. But there's some other freaking awesome reprints in this set, dude. Especially in white, we got Containment Priest in standard now.
That's pretty. I think the more important part is having that available in modern. And Pioneer, I guess.
Yep, I feel Pioneer to a lesser extent, even though I'm not entirely sure what Pioneer looks like post Companion. But for sure, it's a really, really good inclusion for modern.
Does this do anything even in standard? I don't know what's in.
It might. I mean, I honestly am not sure. Especially like when this set is available in standard. This set with just the raw power level is going to shake standard up a good amount, I feel. So it's hard to kind of see where its space is going to be in standard because it's coming in with all of these other cards, with these 273 other cards.
I also just don't think there's anything like cheating creatures into play, is there?
Well, with Winona, you could do it. Like, that just puts them into play.
I feel like that deck just got banned.
So I don't know how many other options you have for that. It remains to be seen. But it also, you can use Containment Priest as a removal spell if you have a deck that can just blank your opponent's stuff. Containment Priest just exiles.
Yeah, it says peace.
Which is sick. I had a couple people text me, or also in the Fetch and Shock Discord, shout out to the Fetch and Shock Discord, people asking me about Containment Priest and its power level in Modern. I'm not entirely sure if people are going to just start jamming it or not.
I think the big thing there, how potent are Aether Vial decks? Dredge. It's good against Dredge.
It's very good against Dredge.
It's like the Reanimator decks. Those aren't really common anymore, but
no. Well, and here's
it does
the thing.
stop those, so
it does. Yeah.
Well, I guess Dredge is pretty much the
Dredge is the big
deck.
one. But here's the thing: Containment Priest has been legal in Legacy for a long time, and I would say probably in the past year, I can't remember registering Containment Priest in my deck. Hogak was the last time I think I put Containment Priest in my deck. So that was about a year ago. After that, Containment Priest just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it's a great sideboard card, and at the worst, it do flash.
Well, here's the thing. Especially in Legacy, and this is, of course, less of the case in Modern, with the decks that are really trying to cheat stuff in play, you're better off not using Containment Priest and attacking them in a different angle. Like, Rest in Peace does this same job, but it also has more utility in other spaces that aren't just like Reanimator decks.
Generally better, yeah.
Yeah, and even in those like Reanimator, Sneak, and Show decks, one of the best cards that you can put on the board, especially early, over top of Containment Priest, is Chalice of the Void. Like, that just shuts off their ability to enact their game plan because those decks are leaning so heavy on their 1-mana spells.
In Legacy, you're talking.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So
No,
I'm
that
just
makes
speaking,
sense.
just in the ways that I could play Containment Priest before, it really didn't pull the weight that it used to. But maybe now that it's in Modern,
I
it
think
can
it'll
get
see
back into a playable.
some play,
Oh, for sure. I don't think it's going to see 0 play.
but it might give some life to your stupid white aggressive decks like Flicker Wisp, legal in Modern.
You better bet it is.
It's also
Eldrazi Displacer.
Yeah, Displacer. Also legal in Modern. That's 3 mana. Start exiling your creatures. Cool.
Yeah, seems okay.
Seems
But I'm
pretty
willing to
decent.
see Priest. Also, we did not guess Containment Priest was the human cleric that we were going to see. So that was we're 1-1. We got Baneslayer right, and we did not get Containment Priest right.
What other white cards
So another
were
one
important to you, I guess?
that we did not get right was the protection, the very unique protection. We got a Rune Halo.
Yeah, I wasn't.
No, that was something I did not see coming. Rune Halo is a hell of a card.
It really is. I don't think it's as good as it once was, though.
No,
Modern, 2 years ago, when Titan was just the only angle of attack was either a Titan, which you had Path, and then on top of that, you drop a Ruined Halo on Valakut. You
It's
just
game
say,
over.
"Can you kill me?"
Never.
No? Okay.
You can't? Okay, cool. We're going to continue playing this game where you can't do anything. But yeah, Rune Halo's. I think we should read Rune Halo because this one's a weird one. Baneslayer kind of explains itself, and I think we talked about it. Containment Priest. I guess we can read it. It's 1 and a white for a 2/2. It has flash, and it says if a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile instead. So that was Containment Priest. Rune Halo, however, is 2 white for an enchantment.
White.
Or white, yeah, 2, yeah, so not 2 and a white, 2 white mana for an enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, you choose a card name, and you have protection from chosen card name. So like how Matt just said, you would play it, name Valakut, so all of the Valakut triggers that go in the stack, when they go cast their Escape Shift or get their Titan, they don't do anything to you because they can't target you.
You can also just put this on Eidolon of the Great Revel. Name Eidolon of the Great Revel. It just doesn't deal you damage.
Yeah, it just deals your opponent damage and not you. That's pretty good.
So it's very, very strong. You just have to kind of know what you're up against and what you...
Yeah, Rune
And
Halo
this
just
isn't
gets...
something that goes in every deck. This is
No,
kind
for
of
sure.
a very specific...
Well, one, it's white, so you have to be able to lean heavy on white mana in order to cast it. And 2, this deck really flourishes in a known meta, where you have a list of 4 or 5 decks that you know you're going to go up against, and this has to have a target in a good portion of those decks where you want to register this in your sideboard.
Like if Storm is super popular or Titan, it doesn't really help, for example, against Jund, because Jund can kill you with
anything.
Lands or, it really narrows down and really just fucks those decks.
Yeah,
that
you just name Grape
don't
Shot
have
against
a lot
Storm.
of... Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
It just really shuts them down.
You get it.
I've been there, man. I have registered a Rune Halo once or twice.
Never.
But
Not my style.
Those were the notable white reprints that I saw. Let's talk about some new cards in white.
First things first, let's start with our new Planeswalker.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to start with. We got a brand new Planeswalker to the wonderful world of Magic the Gathering. Basri Ket. He is 1 and 2 white mana. He has a starting loyalty of 3, and he has a +1 ability that says, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains indestructible until the end of turn. It has a -2 that says, whenever 1 or more non-token creatures attack this turn, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. And it has a -6 that says, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
So this thing's good, but it's not going to be one of the greats because it doesn't really protect itself. But if you would drop this, if you have 2 creatures out, you're going to start smushing some people. And can you imagine, and specifically limited in this scenario, a board stall, and you drop this guy and say, okay, I'm going to -2 him. Attack with 6 creatures, and here's 6 additional 1/1s.
Oh my goodness. Just think about the world where you can go, turn 1 creature, turn 2 creature, this guy hits you.
Won't make one of your dudes buffer and indestructible. One of your creatures, excuse
Or
me.
that, yeah, you can definitely do that too. And it's important to know that that's a +1/+1 counter. That's pretty big.
Yeah. And I think the ultimate is pretty much game over.
Yeah, it's
if you're
pretty
not
good.
unless you're super far behind. But if you can survive like a turn, like I think 2 turn, you have a 3/3 and a 2/2, and then after that it gets real wild.
Oh, you can get really out of hand with this guy.
That's if you have 0 other
Yep.
in play when you ultimate.
I do think it's kind of weird that his -2, it doesn't really do anything if your opponent just like can remove your creatures before combat.
So, or like, it's not in this set, but Cryptic Command. So,
And like tap down. Yeah, sure.
So you're like, okay, go to combat, minus this dude, move to my combat. Okay, I'll tap your team down. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I do see some things happening like that.
Yeah, we really don't see very often a Planeswalker's minus ability being as fragile as this guy's.
Yeah.
But he is a 3-mana Planeswalker.
Which tend to not ever be super terrible. I think it's good. Like, limited, it's the first pickable card.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like you're picking Baneslayer over this, but like you're also, if you don't have Baneslayer in your pack,
yeah, how dare you
take this
live
guy.
the magical Christmas land of opening them both and be like, oh shit, this decision is terrible. You would really, really screw whoever you're passing. If you open this and Baneslayer in the first pack,
and you pass like a foil version of this guy to like the person next to you.
yeah, and they're like, oh shit, you kind of have to narrow it down between like that and 3 other cards.
Yeah, there's a very, very slim margin of creatures or just cards in general that are better than this guy in limited that your opponent had to have picked if they're passing you this.
Yeah, that it's like, okay, well, I know I'm not in white.
Yeah, steer clear. If somebody's passing you this.
Well, no, not even that. But if you're that's what I mean. Like, you try to stay away from white. You try to make it work.
If somebody's passing you this, oh man, like I don't even want to get into the theoreticals of that.
Yeah,
Because like the chances of that happening are so slim.
Do something like that.
Watch my first draft. I'm going to sit down and somebody's going to pass me this, and my brain's just going to fucking explode.
Just melt out of your ears.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take my pack one, pick one, and then I'm going to take this guy, and I'm just going to walk out of the LGS. I'm be like, you know what, guys? Tonight, not my night. I'm getting out of here. I don't want to deal with wherever this train wreck's going because that will throw me off of a draft so bad. I will have the worst unplayable pile of cards by the end of it because I'm just going to be second guessing every single decision I make from there on out.
5-color Basri. I think that's how you pronounce
5-color
that.
unplayable cards.
Basri, like that. Yeah. Just take no creatures.
So if you out there play a Corset 2021 draft and you get past a Basri, let us know. And see, I want to know how that goes for you.
God damn it. What else did you... There's a couple things in this that I think...
There are 2 more cards that I want to talk about in white. One of them is Idol of Endurance.
Yeah, that one, this card's pretty good.
I think this card is really good. I mean, it's a white card, so I'm obviously have that skew. But Idol of Endurance is an artifact for 2 and 1 white. It says whenever Idol of Endurance enters the battlefield, exile all creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard until Idol of Endurance leaves the battlefield. And
this
then
is a really... Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. For
the last part of the card, it says, for 1 and a white, you tap it, and until the end of turn, you may cast a creature spell from among the cards exiled with Idol of Endurance without paying its mana.
I think this thing is pretty good. You would want to, like, from a limited perspective, I'm sure there's some stupid things you could do in a constructed format, but limited, you pack one, pick one, this thing, you can build around that and kind of play your game plan where you're just trading off resources, chump blocking, double blocking to kill their stuff. And if your stuff is dying, it's not the end of the world because you know this is eventually coming. And then you say, okay, well, here's this. You can't deal with this. And then you just start, okay, here's a 3-drop, 3-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and you can kind of just start taking it.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, this just works really well.
That seems like the highest ceiling.
In a world where, like, you just have a really aggressive deck, if you get to a point where your opponent is just killing all of your low aggressive creatures, playing this and getting those creatures back, it gives you a second win. And I think that's huge.
It just doesn't let you putter out. It gives you some additional things.
My thing was too, this card makes you wrath, which is really cool in an aggressive deck, especially in a constructed format where you're playing out your stuff. Cool, you're getting your damage in. Your opponent eventually gets to the 4, 5, 6 mana that they need to do their wrath. They wrath you. You play this thing, and rebuild occurs. Every turn, you're just getting something back, something back, something back, and your opponent just has to just deal with that stuff again.
So, quick question for you. I agree with you there. It's, okay, you have your second wrath. Okay, you're probably doing quite well for yourself anyway, but can you cast this on their turn? Or would you have to cast it the only time you could cast it?
That, I believe, you have to do it on your turn. Anytime that you would be able to cast. No.
Because it just says cast.
I believe it doesn't, you might have to
since
follow.
It references it, I think that it's a creature. But if it had flash, you could do. I don't know. I would have to.
I think that is correct. At least from my knowledge of it.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Yeah, you and I are neither of us are judges.
Yeah, I assume that you would have to cast it on your turn.
Yes.
But it says until end of turn, and then you cast. I don't know.
And I think that's also a drawback of this. It says you cast it. It's not just put it on the battlefield. Sure, I mean, you get your enter the battlefield triggers and stuff, and like that's all fine and good. But there's just something so much inherently weaker to me than just putting it on the battlefield.
You would also get cast triggers.
I'm just thinking of how many cast triggers and ETB abilities are very good ones are on 3 mana.
Containment Priest, if that makes you feel any better.
It does. You're right. If you're in the world where your opponent has Containment Priest, somehow Idol of Endurance gets around it.
Or you have.
That's true. In a world where you're trying to use Containment Priest to stop your opponent's things, Idol of Endurance helps you with your strategy still.
Yeah, so that one's a good one. I like it.
Oh, so you have 2 mana, activated at instant speed. You get to cast your Containment Priest because it has flash, and then you untap and then get to put another creature in. Pretty good. This is like a fixed version of Aether Vial.
Yeah, kind of.
Like a really weak Aether Vial.
Oh my god, it makes not even close to comparison. So, Basri's Lieutenant. I think
that card's really good.
Yeah, there's very clearly a 1/1 counters theme in this set. That's pretty evident. But this is 3.
In white.
Yeah, this is 3 and a white for a human knight. It's 3/4 vigilant, protection from multicolored. When Basri's Lieutenant enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And then the second line here is whenever Basri Lieutenant or another creature you control dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilant.
That card is something else.
Real strong with a lot of +1/+1 counters. I think it's just strong. It's a good card. But the real reason I wanted to read that one, this card is going to win a lot of games, is Basri's Solidarity.
Holy! This card is nuts!
Yeah, so this is 1 and a white for a sorcery at uncommon. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's the real reason I wanted.
This card's going to win you games.
Yeah.
And like this in multiples, like we just don't see this ability with +1/+1 counters at this low of a mana cost.
At 2 mana.
We never see that. That's so gross.
Yeah, I think that's going to be quite strong.
Yeah, I like both of those cards a lot. I'll tell you what, Matt, there's another card in this, the white colors, that I really, really...
Is it, let me guess, is it the make a 4/4 angel?
No, that one's really good too. It is Pack Leader. We got our Lord.
Oh, the Pupper Lord, yeah. I forgot about that.
And, I mean, sure, this card is very good, especially for what it is. But I think the connotation that goes along with this creature and the historic significance in Magic is much more important than the card itself. So Pack Leader is a 2/2 creature dog for 1 and a white. It says other dogs you control get a +1/+1, and whenever Pack Leader attacks, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn to dogs you control.
Not other dogs.
Also,
there are a fair amount of dogs. I know there's an uncommon 1/1. There's the 2/2 vigilance one that's a 2-drop.
Yeah, there's
a 5-drop. There's
the 5-drop one that's Rexage.
Yeah, there's some puppers in this format, or in this set, excuse me.
Well, can we just take a moment to just awe over the fact that we finally have dogs in Magic, and that Wizards announced that from this point forward, all hounds in Magic are errated to being dogs. That
They're
is
good
something
boys and
that
girls.
I have always wanted, and we finally fucking got it. I lost my mind when I saw that. Just because I'm like, holy shit, we got dogs, boys.
We did it
This
because
is what we
cats have been here for a long time.
Oh, cats are insane too. Like like Cat Commander, like that's just a really good deck.
Yeah, that's a real
They have
thing.
a bunch of cool legendaries. My one issue with this guy's
Mono
not a
white.
legendary creature.
Oh,
Again, with the conversation that we had before about legendary creatures or non-legendaries being legendaries, all you have to do is put the in front of this fucking guy's name. He's a legendary creature. The pack leader. Boom. That's all you needed.
we needed.
Oh, but I am so happy about this card. I'm so happy. And this
Yeah,
was the
I
lore
figured you would be.
that we got. Turns out it's not Hydras. So sorry, Dennis. That was a good guess. But I'm happy it's not Hydras. I'm very happy it's dogs. So are there any
Yeah,
other
I would agree with you.
that you had?
No,
in
I
mind?
was all good on white.
The only other thing that I wanted to mention about white, Vryn Wingmare
Uncommon,
got demoted.
as it should have been. It shouldn't have
My
been rare.
flying
But
Thalia got taken down a notch, which I'm fine with. I get to play like pseudo Thalia Unlimited. Sign me up.
yeah,
So let's move on to some blue spells. And I think the first one is probably the one that got people fired up pretty much right out of the gate. It is Teferi, Master of Time.
Jesus Christ, this card.
This card, man. Oh, boy. I'll read it and we can talk about how fucking gross this guy is. So, Teferi, Master of Time, is 2/2 blue. He is a legendary planeswalker Teferi with a starting loyalty of 3. He has a +1 that says draw a card, then discard a card. He has a -3 that says target creature you don't control phases out. And then a -10 that says take 2 extra turns after this one. Also, Teferi Master of Time has
Yeah,
a
you just
static ability.
you forgot this little tiny okay stuff.
Oh no, I was saving the best part for last, man. He has a static ability that says you may activate loyalty abilities of Teferi Master of Time on any player's turn anytime you could cast an instant. So
So
anytime
I'm,
you have
I'm
priority,
assuming
you
this
can use
is. I'm assuming this is one activation per turn cycle.
no, it's not.
Gross.
Yep, and that is the worst part about it. Yeah,
That's
I
gross.
believe they did release the rules for this card, and it is once per turn.
That's disgusting.
This card is trouble.
So each turn cycle, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Separated. Cool.
Yeah, well,
Cool.
yeah, cool. Yeah, and sure, the +1, just draw a card, discard a card. Nothing flashy, nothing super exciting about that, but a good +1 ability, and the fact that you can do it on your turn and your opponent's turn
It
is
draws-
just
yeah.
icing on the cake.
It protects itself and you still get to loot. What? No, rummage.
Well,
What's draw, discard? Just 1.
loot.
That's 2.
No, looting is like Merfolk Looter. Is it when you attack, you draw a card, then discard a card.
Merfolk looter, you tap. But I get it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what. But you draw the card and then you discard. That's looting.
Okay. Rummaging is discard.
Is
then
discarding
draw.
then drawing. Yep, correct.
Okay.
But
Yeah, this thing is fucking disgusting. It's
Yeah,
gonna.
what the fuck, man? In the world where on your turn you plus it, and then on your opponent's turn they attack it, and then after attackers are declared,
you can
you
phase
get
it
to
out,
minus it,
and it still survives unless they have 2.
which is nuts. And let's take a second and talk about phasing for a minute. First of all, you nailed it from last week.
I didn't think they were actually going to bring phasing back, to be honest with you.
I mean, there's another card that we talked about last week that we were both just like, no way, but it also still made it into the set, but we'll get to that. Phasing is a piece of shit mechanic, if we're going to be honest. Like, it is not very intuitive, especially to newer players.
Yeah.
So the way
This at
phasing
least has
works-
exactly how it reads, so that's nice.
Yeah, at least this one does have reminder text. So the reminder text on the card is, treat it as anything attached to it as though they don't exist until its controller's next turn.
They do exist. They do exist,
They do exist,
but it's treated as like it's
and they
just
don't
not in the
exist.
game.
So it's
So-
not like it leaves the battlefield. It just ceases to be anywhere. It's not really in any specific zone. So it's not like in an exile or on the battlefield or anything like that. It's just not there. And then when it phases back in, it doesn't do any triggers like in entering the battlefield or anything like that. It just boom pops back into existence.
Yeah. So a common thing with phasing is phasing out a Phyrexian Dreadnought, for example.
Yeah, that's something you can do. So yeah,
This card is gross. So
man,
it's
this is
gonna-
just something else.
This thing is going to take over standard, I bet.
I think more than that.
You think so at 4 mana?
Oh, yes. I think so for sure.
I think this is for sure going to be in the Time Walk deck.
I mean, dude, I honestly think that this is just better than Jace the Mind Sculptor in Modern. The fact that you can activate on your turn and then...
I don't, because Brainstorm is a hell of a lot more powerful than looting.
See, I don't think it is when you get to do his plus multiple times. Like, you get to do it on your turn and then your opponent's turn.
You could be right. I don't think you are. We'll find out.
Genuinely think this
Time
guy,
will
especially paired with 3 mana Teferi, this really, really screws shit.
Well, 3 mana Teferi is the problem there, not this thing.
Oh, but I mean, I think 3 mana Teferi is just better than Jace.
I am very, very, very glad abilities Teferi Planeswalker, but specifically name this one.
Oh, you're talking about for the static ability with the flash thing. If they would have just said you may activate loyalty abilities of Teferi Planeswalkers as though they had, or at any time, instant speed, that would have been too much. I think that was at least had to have been thought out beforehand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for Teferi Master of Time. This card's going to ruin your local format pretty soon. Pretty much the second it drops.
Yeah.
But Matt, do you have any blue cards that you want to mention?
I have several. The first thing I wanted to mention is what's it called? The See the Truth.
Ooh, this card's something else.
So for 1 and a blue sorcery, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. And sure, not that great, but if this spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put each of those cards into your hand instead.
So you just get to Ancestral for 1 and a blue.
Yes.
Matt, you know what I think the killer for this card is?
The, what's it called?
Sorcery speed.
No, I think this would be pretty good with... The fuck is that red enchantment? Not through Underworld Breed.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
I don't know if it'll be good, but this thing has potential.
I think the fact that it is
sorcery is big.
Sorcery and not an instant takes away its playability pretty significantly, especially in a format where you have Snapcaster Mage, because I think that was everybody's initial
that would be
thought.
Yeah, I thought about that too. But even 4 mana, you get a 2/1 and draw 3 cards. Pretty good.
Yeah, just the sorcery speed thing, man, just makes it like it's hard for you to put this in a deck where you have a good amount of instant speed spells and have the time to just spend 2 mana and not keep that mana open for a removal spell or a counter spell or something like that. Like where you can just have the free time to just be like, oh, 1 in the blue, I'm going to look at the top 3 and just put 1 in my hand. I'm going to anticipate.
And then I think my favorite blue card by far from this set.
I know what it is.
Stormwing Entity.
Yep, saw that one coming.
Fucking come on, man.
I love that reaction.
It's so good.
Yeah, this card's pretty cool.
I think this is going to see a lot of Modern.
You think so? It's going to get that deep.
Bro, have you heard of Manamorphose?
Yeah, no, that's a very, very good point.
So this is 3 blue for an elemental, 3/3 flying prowess. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. It also has the little bit of text. It says this spell costs 2 colorless and a blue less to cast if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn.
So it makes it a 1 and a blue.
So a turn 2 with a Manamorphose.
I think that's pretty big of a stretch, but
I don't think that it is.
I don't disagree with you saying that I think this card is going to be played. Like, I think this card is just like a very, very, very good like storm card or like a blue-red, just like Delvery kind of strategy. Like I could see a deck with
like the Phoenix decks.
Yeah, exactly. I could see like a world where it is almost a replacement for Phoenix in that deck, except for you don't have to jump through the hoops of discarding Phoenix like you did with the Phoenix deck. Like this is just going to be a Delver style, like Young Pyromancer, Delver, maybe Swift Spear, and then this guy, and just get in.
Yeah, I mean even a 3 mana 3/3, so like an opt and 3 mana or 2 additional mana.
Yeah, I mean that's totally doable.
Prowess. Yeah, and then just in the off times where you say, okay, I'll play turn 2 Manamorphose. This guy, this thing,
yeah, sure.
This 3/3 flyer, this creature. I keep fucking saying that. Sorry. Yeah, just I think it's gonna. Yes, it's boltable, but I think people.
I mean, but it also
people,
has prowess.
People have underestimated prowess a lot, and it turns out that it's very good.
My thing is too, there is a mono red prowess deck playing Manamorphose, and it's splashing black for things like Kolaghan's Command and a couple other black cards like Black Incense in the main. I could see that deck maybe turning on its heels a little bit, or at least like versions of the deck turning on its heels a little bit and going for blue and just playing like Manamorphose, this guy, all of the same red creatures and all of the same red spells, and just being like, oh, there's going to be turns where I just get to go bolt you, play 3/3. What's up?
Yeah, the only thing that made this thing not ridiculously broken, they didn't give it haste, thank God.
Oh, if this thing had haste, first of all, it's blue. Like, that's pretty busted.
That's a fair point.
Yep.
Just let me live my life with really broken.
I mean, I think it's already pretty busted just for going off just the card itself.
Yeah, it's for sure strong. In a limited standpoint, I don't know, but for sure in a constructed, modern, and
one of the weaker rares
Metamorphose is
for standard.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
or not for standard, for limited. I'm sorry.
Yeah, even for standard, I don't know, so I'm not even going to try that.
I can't really speak on that.
I was going to be like, well, technically, and I'm like, well, fuck, I actually don't know
You're
anything
about
about
to be
standard.
WOTC real quick.
Yeah.
No, limited pretty weak, but also so is see the truth.
A 3/3 flyer for 5 that has prowess that scries to, not the worst thing.
No, I'm just saying, like, in comparison to like
some of the other 5 drops, yeah.
Like Pursued Whale is another blue rare. Like, I'm taking Pursued Whale over this guy pretty much every single day.
Is that the 8/8 that they get a pirate where they have to attack?
Yeah, it's 7 mana. It's 5 and 2 blue for an 8/8. It's a whale, and then when it enters the battlefield, each opponent gets a 1/1 pirate creature that says creatures they control have to attack each turn.
So you play this, eat their biggest thing, and probably something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's Moby Dick. It's literally Moby Dick on a card. Because like that card, I'm taking in limited 10 times out of 10 if I see it.
I think one of the better limited cards is Tolarian.
Oh, the Tolarian thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Tolarian Kraken.
Tolarian Kraken.
Yeah, so this is a 6 mana, 4 colorless, blue, 4/6. Whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1. When you do, you may tap or untap target creature.
Yeah, so that's just like at your draw stat, pay a thing, tap down their thing. Like at worst, and it's a 4/6. Like that's a pretty good body.
Yeah, it's a very, very good control finisher.
Oh yeah, it's in limited for sure. Yeah, that card's really good. There's one more rare that I wanted to talk about in blue. It's a Discontinuity.
Is that end the fucking turn?
Yep, we got a new end the turn card. So it is 3 blue, and it says, for an instant speed spell, it says, as long as it is your turn, this spell costs 2 and 2 blue last to cast, end the turn. So on your opponent's turn, it's 6 mana, 3 and 3 blue. On your turn, it's 1 and a blue. That's pretty gross.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And there are ways to really abuse. I don't know if in standard or limited effects you'd be able to do it, but there are ways to really abuse this in other formats. I'm interested to see if people, now that there is such a cheap way to do it, if people are going to take this into other formats and try to bust it out. Because before this, we never had something this cheap with this effect.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's the artifact that you can tap and end of the turn, but I think that's like 6 mana.
No, it's 2 mana and then 1 mana to end the turn. Sundial the Infinite is what you're thinking.
Sundial, yeah, there you go. I thought it was way more mana than that.
No, it's 2 to play and 1 to activate. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very,
or
very
you could
cool
just pay 6 and end their turn in their upkeep or something.
This is kind of a feel bad card to open in limited.
Yeah, it's not very good.
It's one of those classic scenarios where there's a card in a core set that is like a specific reprint for a constructed thing, and you open it, it's just like, this is unplayable. Why? Like Scape Shift was a perfect example in core set 2020, where you opened a Scape Shift Unlimited, you're just like, oh, cool, awesome. This is, great, awesome. I just lost the pick.
There's always rares and decks like that, though, that are only good in constructed.
Yeah, it just feels really bad when they're so obvious to not be good.
There's actually a couple other blue cards I wanted to talk about.
Okay, yeah. What else you got?
So another rare, Teferi's Insight, the 2 blue, Legendary enchantment. If you would draw a card except the first one you draw in each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead.
A little bit of consecrated Sphinx action.
Yeah.
Or
It's
just
neat.
imagine this with consecrated. Now we're cooking with gas.
That's doing some math I don't want to do. Auto include in commander decks, I think.
I think a lot of commander decks, especially like heavy blue draw decks.
Yeah.
This might make it into my Krupix commander deck. I'd have to work around the numbers.
I think you just kill yourself. Like you just draw yourself out.
That's what Thassa's Oracle and Laboratory Maniac are for, bud.
Fair. Just it doesn't give you the option. You just do it.
Yeah. It doesn't say you could just draw 1 card. It says you go ahead and draw those cards. I mean, luckily, a lot of the card draw things, like in decks like that, if it's a permanent, it says you may draw a card. So you can just draw 0 cards instead of 2. But this can get out of hand, man. This is nuts.
Yeah, it's always been. My next one is an uncommon miscast. So it's blue
this card's
for
good.
an instant. Counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays. It's a pretty potent effect.
Yeah, it's amazing how much worse you can make Dispel with it still being very, very good.
Well, this is not a hard counter, but it's a 1-mana league for instant or sorcery.
Yeah, no, it's still very good. Again, it's just a significantly worse Dispel. I think it still does the trick though. This is exactly what standard needs. That like, you know, the biggest.
Well,
the
they
closest
have the other
analog.
one. What's that new one? A blue spell. It's a mana league for a blue spell and only costs 1.
Yeah. Well, here's my thing. This is the closest analog I can get to this, where we're talking about kind of like the power creep, but in an opposite direction. We had Lightning Bolt for the longest time, and then we got Lightning Strike. This is like the Lightning
opposite.
Strike to Dispel,
Yeah, fair.
right? But then we also have really powerful stuff printed in the set as far as counter spells go. We're getting Rewind again.
Is Rewind that good? I guess in control decks is, but
Yeah, for
'cause
sure it is, man.
you can both counter a spell and like Reign of Revelation.
Or just like counter spell and then have mana for your next counter spell.
That too.
Like
not
Rewind into
good.
Rewind?
Yeah, they're
outta
just not good in counter wars. Each
here.
up 4
not at
mana.
all. It's really good against decks that aren't playing counter spells.
Yeah,
It's so good. There's one more blue card that I want to talk about before I move on.
hit me. Oh, the functional reprint of.
It's our new game called Frantic Inventory. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't believe they did it to us. Also,
Um,
if there was ever a time for Wizards to give us a fucking spoiler card,
It'd be It's literally accumulated knowledge, only frantic.
it's the game we play every single week. Every week. There's only 1 week that I can think of that we didn't play this.
And it was
It's
the
just a
last
one-
mailbag. Yeah, the year.
We've literally played. Oh, no, there's a couple other weeks because we played our other game, which we're going to have to get back to. I'm going to have to think about that more. But yeah, so everybody's favorite podcast game show, Accumulated Knowledge, got a functional reprint in Frantic Inventory. It is exactly the same thing. It is 1 in a blue, instant speed. You draw a card, and then you draw a card equal to the number of cards named Frantic Inventory in your graveyard.
Why not just reprint accumulated knowledge?
Right? That's what I'm saying. Because if they would have printed Accumulated Knowledge, I would have made it the official, unofficial Fetch and Shock preview.
Yeah, I don't get that, but it's good. They're always good. It's also commons. You can now play 8 of this effect
Oh,
if you really want to in Pauper.
I cannot wait for the moment. I'm thinking about limited, dude. I cannot wait for the day where I have like 6 of these in a limited deck and just get to go in.
Going in on it.
I'm hoping they print Labman in this set so I can just these and Labman, and that's going to be my deck. It's going to be
Pack 1, pick 1 Labman, and then
Labman, 30 of
prioritize
these,
this over
20 lands, call her a day.
everything else. Yeah,
Oh, don't tell me. I'll do it.
I believe you.
God, this set is so sick, man. Let's move on to some black cards. How about it?
Let's do it.
I mean, there's one in particular that you and I both last week were like, no fucking way, and then they threw it in our face. Grim Tutor.
Grim Tutor. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, last week we called it. We called it that there's no way this card is too powerful. And then they just said, hey, Fetch and Shock idiots, here you go. Grim Tutor, 1 black
I
sorcery.
said it wasn't too powerful. I just didn't think they were actually going to do it.
I didn't think they had the stones. It turns out they do. But yeah, Grim Tutor, 1 black sorcery. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. You lose 3 life. This is a crazy, crazy reap. First of all, this was like a gazillion dollars. It was like $40. For
No, it wasn't. Grim Tutor was always expensive. It was only in starter.
Yeah, it was like $40, I thought.
No, it was like 100, I thought.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Well, now it's pre-ordering for 30. I see the floor at this card being like $10, or not the floor. I would say the average of this being like $10. I could see it honestly getting down to like probably like $5.
Yeah, there's no reason it shouldn't be cheap. It's not that great.
No, it's not amazing, but like this being in modern and this being in standard, this is a pretty powerful tutor.
I don't see this seeing play in modern. 3 mana is a lot. 3 life is a lot.
Sure, especially if there's going to be aggressive decks in the format. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. But the fact that they reprinted this card after such a long time, wow, it's something else.
Yeah.
Another noticeable reprint from the set, Massacre Worm.
Yeah. Gotta get that reprint for them cubes.
Commander players alike. Yeah, the horse face got himself a reprint. Good old hee-haw. Yeah, Massacre Worm's sick. Good old -1/-1 to all creatures, or -2/-2 to all creatures. This guy, Wrath on a Stick, I really like. Massacre Worm and Cube is like a reanimator target.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah, really, really cool. Were there any other notable reprints? I mean, we got Duress, we got Grasp of Darkness.
I think that's the only actual reprints. I could be wrong.
No, but we got some sweet new cards, though.
Yeah. Let's start off with our black Planeswalker.
Lily.
Old good girl, Lily.
Yeah. Lily, Waker of the Dead. She's 4 mana this time. She's 2 and 2 black with a starting loyalty of 4. She has a +1 that says each player discards a card. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. She has a -3 that says target creature gets a -X until the end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. Whew, that's nuts. And then a -7 that says you get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn. Put target creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. It gains haste.
A graveyard, not your graveyard.
No, you can do anybody's graveyard.
Yeah, you can get wild with it.
Yeah, this is a really, really solid Liliana.
Yeah,
it's not the best Liliana. It's solid.
It isn't broken by any means, but it's very good.
No, we're not saying it's like Liliana, like
of the
for
Veil.
any of the 3 mana, honestly. It's not Last Hope or of the Veil, but this is a really good Liliana.
Yeah, absolutely.
That -3 is just going to kill a lot of shit. If you can fill your graveyard even somewhat efficiently, this card is nuts.
And, well, any ultimate, you're going to win the game with a Planeswalker. Not all of them, but most of them.
Oh, yeah, the ultimate's just like, game over, boys. I like that card. I think that card's really good.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, pack one, pick one, that one, anytime. What do you think about Karavek the Spiteful?
I'm trying to find it.
He is 2 black for a legendary creature, human warlock. He is a 3/2, and he says other creatures get -1/-1.
Oh, that thing. That thing's good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So
Also, he's a really good
puffed
lore
up.
piece. I'm a big fan of that inclusion, just him as a character. This is his second card. I don't know if he's the one that had a Vanguard card or not. I can't remember. I think he did. This might be the guy who Mero teased as having a Vanguard card, having a legendary, getting a second legendary. His first legendary is pretty good, even though he's really expensive. He's red-black in his initial thing. I actually play him in one of my commander decks. But like his lore, he's got like big beef with Mangara. At one point, he trapped Mangara in like a amber stone, and then Mangara broke out and then trapped Karavek in the same kind of amber stone. And now I guess he's out. So a little bit of lore for that, and I think this card's just good. Just Night of Soul's Betrayal on a creature.
Yeah, seems pretty good. Do you know what the better legendary black creature is in this set?
Oh, I mean, which one is it?
Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. So, homie here is 2 and a black. Legendary creature, vampire cleric for a 1/3. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. And for 3 black, creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn.
That's pretty good. Like, just think about the black-white deck, because there's obviously like a subtle lifelink theme with the white cards too.
It also just on them as is, but this can also just give your board lifelink.
You can dump the 5 mana into it, and that's really good. But if you're just gaining life incidentally, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. They also have finally coined the term mill, so that's exciting.
I was just about to bring that up. I am so excited that they have taken out the convoluted, like, put cards from the top of your library into the graveyard. They just made mill a keyword.
It's about
Not
damn
a
time.
keyword, but like a regulated phrase.
Yeah, rather than what
Which
you
I
just
think is
said.
fucking awesome. Which makes me think, should we just get Millstone reprinted? Like, it's not particularly good, but like the flavor where you just
It
get
should be fine.
Millstone and then it just says tap and then opponent mills. I would love that. What about any other black cards you're feeling right now?
I saw people on Twitter talking about Silver's Moat Goal. So it's 2 and a black for Zombie Vampire 3/1. And at the beginning of your end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Seems good with the Creeping Chill.
I was just about to say, I saw this card and immediately was just like, what's an easy way to gain 3 life in black that's already played pretty heavily in all the decks that would like this card? Oh, it's Creeping Chill, exactly. This is a pretty sweet tool for Dredge. Is Creeping Chill Pioneer legal? I think it is.
It is.
Are we getting closer and closer to like a Dredge, like a very, very functional, good Dredge deck in Pioneer?
It's more of a self-mill, but I think because there's
like,
not actually Dredgers legal.
Yeah, it's a dredgeless Dredge, I guess, and there was already a version of it before, but you almost have to call it Dredge, right?
Yeah.
Because like they got Narcomoeba, they got this guy, they got Creeping Chill. Some sweet cards.
There are 2 other ones that I wanted to talk about. Is there anything you wanted to?
I had 2 more, but there's a good chance that my 2 more might be yours. So you go ahead.
Eliminate 1 and a black instant, destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less.
Yeah, I like that card a lot.
They finally gave us the destroy a planeswalker
at instant speed for a low mana cost. I'm in on that. That was one of them.
And then my other one is Pestilent Haze.
Oh, see, this one's cool.
So 1 black for a sorcery, choose 1. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn, or you can remove 2 loyalty planeswalkers from each planeswalker.
Uncommon Wrath effect, even though it's only -2/-2 and limited.
They're pretty potent.
It's really powerful, especially in like a control deck. Just like picking up one of these, like on the wheel, and just having it in your sideboard for if you're up against like an aggressive matchup, or God forbid you're up against somebody who has a planeswalker.
Yeah, it helps get rid of them, especially if they're like, okay, playing a control deck, they can't really kill this. I'm gonna do something to make it low. And then you're like, psych, get it out of here.
Yep, see you, bud. Yeah, I like this a lot. The last one in black I wanted to talk about was Village Rites.
Okay, I was hoping you would bring that one up. I think this one's good.
This card is nuts. So Village Rites is 1 black mana for an instant speed spell. It says, as an additional cost to cast this card or this spell, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. And it's a common. First of all, common. I think this card is hyper playable in Pauper. Like, this card is going to now be a Pauper staple.
Really?
Yeah, I think 1,000%. This card is nuts.
And what would it see play in?
I think there are going to be like black centered, maybe with white or green, like aristocrat decks that just are drawing cards, sacking creatures, getting value from that, and just going off, having a blast. Yeah, I think this card's very, very good in Pauper. Also, just in general, instant speed, 1 black, draw 2 cards, just sack a creature for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like
that's some power level shit there.
Block and response, sack, draw. Seems okay.
Yeah, it seems insane. This card's nuts. Like this, the fact that this is a common, I think is the perfect example to speak to the power level. Of course, at 2021. Like, if this is what the commons look like, and we've already talked about some of the rares, this set is boss.
Yeah, it's really powerful so far, and we didn't even get everything. So
let's talk about some red cards now.
Currently, one of the big heavy hitters is Terror of.
Oh, yeah.
It's our 5 mana dragons, 3 red, flying, 5/4. Spells your opponents cast that target Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. And then whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target.
Yo, jeez. So this is Standard's new Thundermaw Hellkite or Stormbreath Dragon or dragons of that ilk.
The big dragon. There's always a big dragon.
And this one's really good.
Yeah, this is strong. You're going to see this Standard, I would assume.
First of all, if you want to deal with it,
It's also
you're
not
getting
legendary too, so
oh, that's
also,
very true.
Also, yes, you're just getting bolted.
Anytime you want to deal
you
with, you're
want to
getting
target.
bolted. Yeah.
And you can still counter or do stuff like that, and they still just eat 3 life.
If you want to just, play a game of Magic and cast creatures, you're just going to continue killing your opponent with that. Like, it's not like you're going to play this and not do anything for the rest of the game. I'm assuming you're also going to have something to play after you play this in the subsequent turns.
Yeah.
So if it's not immediately dealt with and bolting your opponent, you're probably going to do a lot more than 3 damage.
I would assume.
At very least, you're probably going to do 5. I would say.
At least 5, yeah.
With the attacking part. Oh, unless your opponent has Baneslayer.
And then this is null and void.
Unless you can produce somehow more than 5 damage worth of creatures the next turn. Like, that is a viable thing. Like, play this guy and then just play a bunch of creatures and then just get your opponent dead before they can really gain too much life with Baneslayer?
Yeah, because you can't target Baneslayer with this thing. Because it's this that deals the damage, not the other creatures coming in.
That is correct. Yep. Another card I really like is Brash Taunter. Little stuffy doll goblin.
Yeah, there's some good goblins.
Oh, for sure.
The exact same as Stuffy Doll, except 4 in a red, 1/1, indestructible. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. And then for 2 in a red, you tap it and it fights another target creature.
Which is a crazy text line to put on a Stuffy Doll.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the days when you just play Stuffy Doll and then all you wanted to do was cast a Blasphemous Act.
Yeah, deal 13.
And just 13 them. Now, this guy can just come down and then you just fight a big thing and you're just going to just chip away at your opponent's life total.
Do you know what's really crazy?
What's
you can block and then activate it.
Oh, I love that.
So if your opponent attacks with a 5/5, you're doming them for 10.
Assuming that this guy can block that 5/5? Yeah, big time. Yeah, this card's sweet. Another sweet goblin is Conspicuous Snoop.
Yeah, there's a janky combo with this already.
I mean, you don't even need a janky combo for this card to be good. It is 2 red mana for a 2/2 Goblin Rogue. It says, play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast goblin spells from the top of your library, and as long as the top card of your library is a goblin, Conspicuous Snoop has all activated abilities of that card.
Conspicuous.
Or conspicuous, yes, you're right. So, Matt, what is the dumb combo? It has something to do with Kiki Jiki, right?
So, yeah, it's this Kiki Jiki, the goblin that lets you go get a goblin and put it on top, and Mog Fanatic.
Okay.
So you copy this. So Kiki Jiki's on top. You make a bunch of this with Kiki Jiki itself, and the new copy comes into play untapped. Keep copying it ad nauseum, however many times you want. And then you go get Mog Fanatic, and then you sacrifice them all to just ping them to death.
Yeah, that's a way to win a game. You can also just have this as a value card. Like, this is going to be incredibly playable. It's going to be played in some number. I don't know if it's going to be 4, but some number in Legacy Goblins.
I think it'll be because you can just chain some goblins, especially with the one that sacks goblins for mana.
Yeah, I don't know if 4 is the right number.
I don't know either.
Like
I've
2
never
or
played
3.
Goblin in my life.
It doesn't feel like 4, and it feels greater than 1. But regardless of the number that Goblin experts settle on, which neither of us certainly are not, this will 100% be played in Legacy Goblins and Modern Goblins and some standard deck that can do Goblins. This card is just really, really good.
Yeah, pretty potent.
There's another card I know you were excited about. It is Gadrick, the Crown Scored.
Yeah, another dragon.
Legendary dragon.
This one's only 3 mana, so 2 in a red, flying, 5/4. It can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts. And then at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn.
Yeah, this card is on its surface pretty powerful.
At worst, it's a 5/4 flying wall.
For 3 mana. But in the decks where you can abuse cheap artifacts, this is a very, very early threat.
Even when it's not. So you just play this guy out. It's not your stuff that dies. It's any creature that dies.
Any creature. Yep.
Non-token.
Sure,
so you just plop this homie out, and eventually stuff dies in limited blocking and attacking. So trading off, you're going to get 2 treasures, which will either ramp you out into something bigger or turn Yadric into a 5/4 flying that can attack.
Yeah, a mean bitch. This card is very powerful.
I don't know if it's good. It
I
seems
think
fun.
this card's sweet. Are there any other red cards that sparked your wrist? I know of at least one.
Yeah, there was something. It's the new polymorph. Oh, Transmorgify.
Yeah, Transmorgify.
Just literally polymorph for red.
Yeah, so 3 in a red, sorcery speed, exile target creature. That creature's controller reveals the cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. They put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle their library.
Polymorph.
I mean, that's a pretty good red removals. At very least, and at best, you can just cheat out a very disgusting creature.
Yeah, good old token into Emrakul, the Aeon Storm.
I mean, we already had a way to do that came out recently in Luca. Now you just have another way to do something like that.
Well, there's that mono red deck floating around in Modern, or mono red splashing polymorph that played the land from Throne. That when it comes in, you make a 1/1 if you control 3 or more mountains.
Yeah, the one that makes I believe it's a kobold or a dwarf. No, it's a dwarf. It makes a dwarf.
Yeah, but this is just now another way to be able to do that,
which is pretty cool. I also like the card Fiery Emancipation.
Is that the tripler?
That is, it's the mythic rare for 3 and 3 red. It's an enchantment. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage to that permanent or player. This is a sweet one.
The commander.deck.
Yep. Oh, yeah. If you were a red deck wanting to deal a ton of damage, like Perforos is the perfect example.
Apparently doubling stuff isn't good enough anymore.
No, you need... No. Yeah, you thought doubling was good? Try tripling.
It's 33% better.
Yeah, that math checks out. We also got a new Chandra.
I'm not sold on this.
No, I don't love her either. But, I mean, we can at least talk about one card that we don't love, because there's been a lot of heaters so far. The new Chandra is Chandra, Heart of Fire. She's 3 and 2 red for a 5 loyalty starting Planeswalker. For +1, you discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library. Until the end of turn, you may play cards exiled this way. For +1, you can also have Chandra, Heart of Fire, deal 2 damage to any target. And for -9, you can search your graveyard and library for any number of red instant or sorcery cards, exile them, then shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn, add 6 red to your... Well, that -9 ends the game.
Yeah. It's better at least.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess in a red deck, by the time you have enough mana to,
play this and activate it a bunch of times.
I'm assuming you're not going to have a ton of cards in your hand, so the first +1 isn't too backbreaking of discarding your hand. I wish you drawed the cards, but I guess that's not very red. But I can see you playing it, plussing to deal 2 damage, and then the next turn untapping with at least 5 mana, and then just trying to get nuts. But I'm not sold.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Only time will tell.
How do you feel about Chandra's Pyrolink?
Chandra's Pyrolink.
So it's 1 in a red, a 1/3 elemental list. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Pyrolink gets +1/+0 and double strike until end of turn.
Ooh, and it's a 1/3.
A 1/3. So a bolt or a lava dart would turn it into a 2/3 double striker.
I mean, and also it does continue to get the +1/+0. Obviously, the redundant instances of double strike don't do anything, but it still does get the buff. So if you just throw together 2 burn spells, a 3/3 double strike is still something, I guess. I feel like this being an uncommon makes it significantly worse.
I meant in a constructed sense.
Oh, see, I don't know the constructed deck where this is the card that you want. If this was 1 red,
that'd be stupid if it was 1 red.
But it just being two mana, I feel like there's so many more potent things you could be doing with 2 mana. I don't know if it's worth it.
That's fair.
Especially in Modern, you got so many really busted 2 mana red spells.
Yeah, you're fighting space at that point. That makes sense.
I mean, this could be a very playable card in Standard. I'm not sure. Limited, You have to really, really stretch it for this card to be good.
No, I believe.
But I mean, we've been wrong before, so I guess we'll see.
So let's move on to green.
Yeah, we got a really important reprint in green. We got Colossal Dreadmaw, dude.
We did get Colossal Dreadmaw. We actually got some legitimate cards that need reprinting for
we got some
price points.
actual. Besides Colossal Dreadmaw, we got some real cards that needed reprinted. Azusa Lost But Seeking is one of them.
Yeah, no longer a $50.
Yeah, that card was a gazillion dollars. Needed a reprint big time. Also Heroic Intervention.
That's what I was gonna say because that was like $20 because of Commander.
I mean, that's just like one of the best green cards just in general to put in a Commander deck. Just like makes you wrath proof, which is exactly what a green deck needs.
Yeah.
And like to a lesser extent, we also got like Cultivate and Fierce Empath. Like sure, those cards weren't $1 million, but like those are both very good cards that seeing reprints is never a bad thing.
They also reprinted Quirion Drive.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I didn't expect that.
Uncommon.
Oh, it did get shifted.
Yeah, it got pushed down.
I'm fine with that. Card's really good.
So some of the new cards here, Green Chase, I guess, is the Elder Gargaroth.
Elder Gargaroth, yep.
So 3 green beast, a 6/6, so a 5-mana 6/6. Vigilance, Reach, Trample, sure. And then just on top of it, let's whenever it attacks or blocks, choose one. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token, or gain 3 life, or draw a card.
If anything, this card just really shows the power level that green has been creeping up. This is like a pared down version of some of the green cards that we've seen in the past couple sets, and it's still not.
Yeah, it's real strong. I'm surprised it wasn't an enter the battle trigger.
See, I kind of like it being attack because I feel like there's so many. There's Euro now. That's an ETB.
That has ETB and attacks, so that's both.
Yeah, that is both. But I guess the initial one is just ETB because it then goes away for a little nap for a couple turns. I don't know. This card good. Another card that I think is pretty good.
Are you talking about Garruk?
Yeah, Garrick's back.
Garrick Unleashed. This one's real good.
Yeah, so, he's really good.
Go ahead, read this one. This one's very, very strong.
Yeah, so Garrick Unleashed is a Planeswalker for 2 and 2 green with a starting loyalty of 4. For a +1, it says up to 1 target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until the end of turn. For -2, you create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Then, if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a loyalty counter on Garrick Unleashed. Then for -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, you may search your library for a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Woo!
Very, very strong. All of these are good.
Gives you a way to ability on them.
Gives you a way to punch through damage. Makes a 3/3, and then if they have 2 creatures, you just happen to get another loyalty on it. So I could see a lot of times like, okay, I'll make a 3/3. You have 2 creatures. I have 1. Second main, play another creature.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, in the scenarios where you need to immediately minus him and protect him, your opponent is going to have a lot of creature.
And it still leaves them at 3 loyalty.
That leaves them at 3 loyalty, exactly. Like in the scenarios where the immediate minus is important, he's going to end up being at 3 loyalty. In the scenarios where you can just go ahead and plus him, you're already in a favorable board state. So like you're going to be able to put that +3/+3 on a creature and then just get in.
Yeah, smack someone upside the head.
I mean, and even if your opponent does have creatures that can threaten him, like I think feasibly the average scenario that you're going to play this guy on turn 4 is a game where you go like turn 1 land, turn 2 land creature, turn 3 land another creature, turn 4 play him. You can plus on your turn 2 creature that's I'm assuming smaller than your turn 3 one, attack with the big one, and then you can keep your turn 3 creature back to on defense.
Yeah, we're just smushing harder.
Yeah, or you could just get way sideways if they don't have the ability to attack him for 5. Because, I mean, 5 by turn 4 attacking, I mean, not the easiest thing to come by.
Yeah, definitely not.
I also really like, even though not a big cat person, I like Feline Sovereign a lot.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. It's obviously, like we said, there's already a lot of good cats.
And this is just another one on the list.
If they do not make one of those pre-made products, cats versus dogs.
Okay. Yep. You got me on board with that one. I wasn't a huge fan
Like
of the
there's like
pre-mades.
goblins versus elves and
Yeah.
like the angels versus demons. Like, give us some fucking kitties versus puppers.
Yeah. That would be so sick. I mean, and Feline Sovereign's pretty good. Just have Feline Sovereign versus Pack Leader. Even though Feline Sovereign wins like 100 times out of 100, it sucks.
Well, it just gains protection from dogs,
I
not
know,
indestructible.
it's so rough. But anyway, Feline Sovereign is obviously a creature cat for 2 and a green. It is a 2/3, and it says other cats you control get a +1/+1 and have protection from dogs. And then whenever one or more cats you control deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Also, the flavor text, dogs beg, cats lay claim. I take offense to that.
So do I.
As a dog person, not a
Dogs
fan.
are better than cats. End of story. If you think otherwise, you can stop listening. I'm fine with that.
Just alienating 50% of the population. Do you think the population is split 50-50 between cat people and dog people? Or is it like...
No, I think way more people like dogs. Even people who don't own dogs love dogs. Not
There's
all
people out there
people.
who just don't like pets in general.
Yeah,
So like
and
that,
those
you gotta
people are
factor that.
sociopaths.
Yeah, those are like serial killers, right? But anyway, that's a tangent. Are there any other green cards that you're particularly stoked on?
Particularly stoked. Yes, there's one that I'm like, ooh, that's really good. Old Spidey, Spore Web Weaver.
Oh yeah, this card's nuts.
Yeah, 3 mana, so 2 and a green. Reach, hexproof from blue, 1/4. Whenever Spore Web Weaver is dealt damage, you gain 1 life and create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token.
It's so weird that it makes a sapperling, but I love it in a weird way.
Yeah, why not just make like a baby spider?
Yeah, like a little baby spider. I mean, you can make a 1/1 spider, or like an 0/2 spider would be fine.
Well, the 1/1 like lets you eventually get in there.
Sure.
This blocks. What the fuck is that card called? Whenever you discard a card, tap it, it gains hexproof. Whenever you draw a card, it gets +2/+0.
Oh, the
2 white, blue, blue.
yeah, I don't remember what it's called. I know what you're talking about.
But that card.
Yep.
Which there will be in standard and stuff together. So there's your
There's your answer.
trump card, and it has protection from Teferis and all that.
Which yeah is going to be a real thing that people have to deal with. No, I think that card's
What
sweet.
else? Was there anything else? There's some good like limited cards, like fight cards are always good.
Oh, like what? Ranger Skyle is really good.
Yeah.
There's just some crazy cards in this set, man.
The art for Sabretooth Mauler. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
man. That's a
Yeah, I haven't
nasty
got
looking.
started on the art on this set. Maybe we'll talk about the art on next week's cast when we don't have so many cards to get through. But yeah, the art is just unreal in this set. Actually, you know what? We can do a quick segue into the art. How about that?
No, we'll save it.
I want to talk about the art for Ugin the Spirit Dragon, man.
Oh, I see what you did. You
Which is the next
transitioned.
segue into our colorless cards. First of all, Ugin, put another point on the board for the Fetch and Shock Boy. We got that one right.
Yeah, this needed a reprint. They were like $50 or something.
Yeah, they were $1 gazillion. But they did a showcase version of it.
Yes, fuck, man, that's so cool. Like the full,
First of all, it's like the painting of it. I don't know if the auction is over or not. But if the auction isn't over by the time you're listening to this, feel free to go and buy the painting and send it to me. I think the buy it now was like $45,000. Also, Ryan Pankos. So if anybody can get that bid up as high as it can possibly go, so Ryan Pankos can get that bag, I am 1,000% in on that because this work is stunning. It is
is it
one
like
of
the very,
best
very,
ones.
is it the different art or the same art that's
It's
extended?
the different.
Okay. See, I actually personally like I didn't see the actual painting, so let's start there. But I like the same art with extended. I think that looks super.
Well, here's the thing too, and I think this is a important thing to recognize. The original art is digital.
Did not know that. And then that one's actually hand painted.
And yes, the Ryan Pancoast, I believe, I don't know exactly. I think it's the promo packs, like the collector's edition boosters. Yeah, that one is oil painting. Are you kidding me? And the thing is massive. It's like 5 foot tall. It's huge. It's gorgeous, man. Holy fuck. Ugin's nuts. What a crazy good reprint.
Yeah, that might be the best card in the set.
Yeah, very well. Also another
From a
notable
limited
really good
perspective.
reprint. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Sad Robot. Welcome back.
Yeah. Solemn Simulacrum. I'm really happy to see that reprint.
Yeah, it's just overall good.
Yeah, Solemn's never bad. I mean, in anytime a very, very popular commander card gets reprinted, I'm happy. Because then just like cheaper copies, more people get their hands on it. Like I like that shit.
Yeah, you've always been up there.
Big fan.
Speaking of Commander, this
Chromatic.
Yeah, come on now.
Hoo-wee! Oh, this card is nuts.
Like 7 mana is like nothing in Commander, especially since it's colorless. And then you can 7 mana, legendary art. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. Tap to add 5 color mana pool. And then 5 tap, draw a card each color among permanents you control.
Matt, I just built a colorless commander, a commander deck literally devoid of color. If I can get my hands on one of these, I'm putting it immediately in the deck. I don't give a fuck about that second ability. Just something that taps for 5 colorless mana is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Especially with all the artifact mana and shit out there in Commander.
Oh my goodness. And just imagine the world where you can just power this out and then just tap it, add 5, manifold key, untap it, tap it again, voltaic key, untap it, tap it again, 1,000,000 mana, play a thing. Yeah,
Gross.
that feels really good.
That's gross, yeah.
I also like Spark Hunter Massacre, the 3 mana 3/4 that as an additional cost to cast a spell, you discard a card. And then it has protection from planeswalkers. And then for 1 mana, it deals 1 damage to target planeswalker. And for 3 mana, it gains indestructible until the end.
Yeah, hey, let's make a card to kill Planeswalker that's also 3 mana and has protection from them.
I mean, I'm
downwing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Also, I'm an addict. So the first thing I thought of when I saw this card was, oh, this card plays really well with Aether Vial.
Yeah, 3 mana.
I'm jamming this.
And you're not casting. You don't have to discard that card.
Don't have to do the discard thing. I am going to jam this card in Aether Vial decks until the day I die. I really like this, especially in metas where planeswalkers are just such a pain in the ass to deal with.
You mean like 4-color control decks?
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Rely on planeswalkers to win the game.
Yeah, there are going to be times where somebody plays an Oko and like immediately minus or pluses and kills one of my things, puts it to 3, and then I could just like play this guy. Or like Aether Vial in this guy.
Dump 4 mana into it and say, bye, Oko.
Kill your Oko. Like, the first time I kill an Oko with Spark Hunter Manticore, there's a good chance.
Keep a running tally on the Spark Hunter Masticore.
Oh, yeah, I might, like, tattoo that into my... Like, I'm going to nut the first time I kill an Oko with a Spark Hunter Masticore. It's going to be that good. I cannot wait.
Also, reprint on Tormod's Crypt.
Yeah, that's a notable good reprint. I like that card. It's going to be awkward when that's like your uncommon in your in your pack. One of your uncommons in your pack.
It's like, oh.
That feels bad. It could be something
wheel.
better. You're right. Yeah, and then you just pick it up on the wheel and then slide it into your constructed deck.
So
but
what
that's
do you think of these
multicolor cards? There's one multicolor card that I lost my shit over. It is Numbai Esteemed Speaker. This is Teferi's daughter.
The promo. No, where are you? Oh, never mind. That was in the last one. Okay.
Yep, it's a new one.
Hold on, let me read this then.
Yeah, Nyambai Esteemed. Well, how about this, Matt? How about I read it to you?
There we go.
Nyambai Esteemed Speaker is 1 white and 1 blue for a 2/1 human cleric. It's a legendary, and it has flash. Nyambai also says whenever she enters the battlefield, you may return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you gain life equal to that creature's converted mana cost. And for 1 white and a blue, you tap it, discard a legendary card, draw 2 cards.
Is your Death and Taxes list going to start playing some blue splashes?
I mean, this card is really, really good. I don't know if it's can like pull that kind of weight, but like Nyamba is so good. It's hard to explain the versatility of this card because
it's really not.
There's so many scenarios.
So many situations with ETB and combat match. Oh, hey, you have your 2nd and 3rd Thalia in your hand? Yes, please. I'll discard that and draw 2 cards.
Yeah, and not to mention just like all of the shenanigans you can do with like Flicker Wisp and Aether Vial. Like There are so many things that this card does. It's nuts.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I love this card. How about you? Any other multicolor cards that you were particularly fond of?
We got our classy blue-white flyer card.
Oh, yeah, our mythic rare uncommon that's blue-white flyer.
The thing that's just limited blue-white flyers. There's always something.
Yep.
Conclave Mentor.
Oh, yeah, this card's right up my alley.
So very, very similar to the Snick, the Winding Constrictor.
Yep.
So green, white, Centaur Cleric 2/2. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on that creature instead.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So you get an additional counter, and then it just has, when it dies, you gain life each power. Once again, this is the flagship uncommon, so +1/+1 counters. Our white red guy goes and gets an Alpine Watchdog, which is the common one.
Yeah, I mean, this is just that typical thing where the 2-color uncommon usually gives you a good idea of what that 2-color combination is about, at least in a limited context. So, I mean, I don't think the red-white one really does that, but I think we might find another red-white card that does that same thing. The green-white one, the Conclave Mentor, like you said, does the +1/+1 counters thing. It seems like the black-red one has a pretty strong combat theme. Black-white is like life gain.
The draining gain, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the cards really give you an idea of the direction you would want to take your limited deck in. It's not always like a steadfast, like you have to do the thing, but it's a good directionary card for limited.
Yeah. Loreskull Codal got a reprint.
Yeah, I like that card a lot. I play that in Krufix, my commander, so.
It's really good in limited too. Turn 3.
Oh, hell yeah. I was playing a commander game on Magic Online earlier this week, and somebody had a 32/32 Loreskull Coddle.
Disgusting. Not surprising though.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
And then I think our last multicolor card, it's a promo. So it's probably a buy a box or something.
It is the buy a box, exactly.
So it's Rin and Seri inseparable. So 1 red, green, white. Legendary creature, dog, cat. They fucked up not calling it cat dog.
I would say it definitely should have been cat dog. I was just about to say that.
But these are the good boys and girls for the cat dog deck. Whenever you cast a dog spell, create a 1/1 green cat. Whenever you cast a cat spell, create a 1/1 white dog. And then Naya, so red, green, white, tap it. Rin and Seri inseparable deals damage to any target equal to the number of dogs you control. You gain life equal to the number of cats you control, and it is a 4/4.
This card's good.
Yeah, so there we go. We got a cat dog cat planeswalker deck.
I love that I can make a dog tribal deck and then just like somehow also have cats in there. I want to make a dog tribal with this and then just put sack outlets so I can sacrifice all of the cat tokens I'm getting. So I just get nothing but dogs.
Have only puppers. And then I guess we can do the lands. We only got one.
There's only one really notable. No, there's 2 lands I would say that are worth talking about, and then we got a cycle. But the cycle of lands we got is just the completion of the rest of the Scry Islands.
Yeah,
yep.
So
which is everybody knows me and Matt, big fans of the Scrylands.
Yeah, so we got the red blue, black green, green blue, white black, and red white.
Yep.
Fabled Passage got a reprint,
which is much needed.
Yeah, that's like the perfect find. It really is.
I agree.
And then we got Animals.
I love it, man. I love this card.
So tapped out of colorless, or 2 and tap it, put a 1/1 counter on target bird, cat, dog, goat, ox, or snake. No owners allowed. Sanctuary sign.
Maybe one of my favorite flavor texts of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I love it. No owners allowed.
And then since we have a life gain theme, we also have a good old Radiant Fountain. Enters tapped, gain 2 life, tapped, add color.
And that's all we got for this week, at least.
That's a wrap.
What do you, okay, so far on our new grading scale of 1 to 10, what are you rating Core Set 2021 just from the cards we've seen to this point?
In a vacuum or in relation to others?
I would say just as a release.
I'd say like a 7.5, or it seems pretty fun so far.
I was going to say like I would say with the cards that we've seen so far, I'm going like mid to high 7. Like 7.6, 7.5.
There's a lot of good reprints.
Yeah,
And
there's a ton of good reprints, and there's a ton of just really good cards.
This is a core set.
And I think
Remember
that's you have to factor that into your judgment of it too. If we're gonna put it on the scale of core sets, this is like a 9.4.
This is probably the best. This is better than M20 or M19. What was it? Was it
M19.
M20?
Or no, yeah, M20. Yep.
With the Cavaliers.
Yep.
And the Elementals.
Yeah, much better than that.
I don't know playability wise. I haven't played it yet, but there's some.
And we don't have the entire set, but just so far out of sets in general, this set is very, very good.
Yes, I would agree with you.
But Matt, do you want to move into our top 5 of the week now?
I suppose so.
And I guess Animal Sanctuary was kind of a good transition into it.
Good leeway. What the fuck is Jesus?
So since we finally got the much needed a ratification of hounds into dogs in Magic the Gathering, this week we thought we'd take a nod to that and give our top 5 doggos in Magic prior to Core Set 2021. So basically our top 5 hounds in Magic.
Correct.
So Matt, do you have any honorable mentions? I do not.
I only have one.
All right, what's an honorable mention for you?
Banehound.
Ooh, Banehound.
Black, just black, 1/1, life.
Ooh, I like that. That's a pretty good aggressive little idiot. Was that that was the one from War of the Spark, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that card. It was a
You have
nightmare,
no honorable
wasn't it?
mentions. I would also like
zero.
to, I don't know. I also want to shout out Finn and Ollie, number 1, obviously.
Yeah, shout out,
but
no, yeah, Budweiser. He's not a Magic card, so Budweiser can't be in our top 5 hounds in Magic.
But my dogs are magical, so.
Oh, that's very true. Well, Budweiser was in the MTG Jogs bracket.
That's true.
So he is technically a dog in Magic adjacent.
Dog adjacent. Magic adjacent.
No, Magic is dog adjacent now.
Fair.
And also, I don't have any honorable mentions because they're all good dogs.
They are all good dogs. They're all good boys and girls.
But I'll start out the list.
For fucking real, though, we don't deserve dogs. We really don't.
No, 100%. No.
People are garbage.
We're scum. We're shit.
People are trash and deserve the love of dogs, but yeah,
Somehow
we have
we
it
got
anyway.
lucky. But yeah, I'll start out with my number 5. My number 5 is Hallowborn Bargus.
Never even heard of that one.
The only reason why I know about this is because I built a commander deck this week that is centered around demons.
That pupper is an angel.
You're right.
How dare you refer to him as a demon dog?
Okay, listen, it's not me referring to him as a demon.
Is it a chihuahua? No? Then it's not a demon dog.
No. It is not a chihuahua. It hardly looks like a dog. It's pretty
come
good,
at
though.
me. I threw shade at chihuahuas.
No, that's fine. Chihuahuas are kind of like a subset of dogs.
It's a ham.
Yeah, it's not
It's
entirely
okay.
dog.
They have their moments.
No, Hollowborn Bargus might be. I think it's the biggest dog. It is a 7/6.
For sure, that's the biggest dog.
Yeah, he's thick. It's also 7 mana. And it says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 0 cards in hand, each opponent loses 2 life. And then at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, they lose 2 life.
Seems good.
Yeah, it doesn't seem bad. It almost made my new commander deck, but then I decided against it because I was looking for demons and not dog. So Matt, what's your number?
First mistake?
No, trust me, the dog commander deck is forthcoming. I was just making a more specific demon.
My number 5 is Mawu, Loyal Companion.
Ooh, good old Mawu. He is such a good boy.
He is a good boy. And the token, there's like a token of Mawu.
Yes.
It's an adorable little pupper.
Yeah, he's very good. I like that a lot.
I'll shoot on to my number 4 here. Probably the one that's been played the most, Wild Mongrel.
Ooh, that's a very good one. Yeah, you can't really fuck with a wild mongrel. It's the dog. It's such a good dog that it can be anything it wants.
Yes, exactly. See,
it teaches you to play dead.
Yeah.
What a great piece of flavor text.
In Russia, a dog teaches you.
I wish I knew the set that Wild Mongrel was from, so you could say the set instead.
Ah, damn it! I really screwed up that one.
Yeah, you blew that one. It's Odyssey, right? Yeah, Odyssey. In Odyssey, or on Odyssey, dog teaches you. No, my next one is actually a compound answer. It is Longshot Squad and Enoch Bonkin.
Those are from cons.
They are from cons, and turns out they're both dogs. They're also both soldiers, I believe, or warriors. They're both warriors, but that just shows how brave they are as dogs, that they can also be warriors. They're the Outlast ones. Longshot Squad gives reach, and Enoch Bonkin gives first strike if the creature has a +1/+1 counter. I have played a good handful of both of these.
Yeah, both very, very good in cons.
Yeah, can confirm both very good dogs.
Very good dogs.
But my number 3, Matt. My number 3 is Wild Mongrel.
Heyo, crossover number 1.
Yeah, in Odyssey, Dog Teach You.
Dog Teach.
The boy of many colors. Wild Mongrel. Love that. All right, let's hear your number 3 and 2.
So my number 3 is Kunaros, Hound of Athreus.
Oh,
the new one.
Yeah.
Fluffy for all you Harry Potter fans out there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is actually exactly it.
I think my number 2 is going to surprise you because I feel like it's your number 1.
Oh no, I already know what it is then.
Isamaru, Hound of Konda.
Oh, you motherfucker. What the fuck could be your number 1? Oh, no. I already know what your number 1 is.
I'll let you guess it before, but Isamaru is 2/2 for a white legendary creature hound. The flavor text is pretty cool too. It's like the Konda hears his dog start to growl, and it's like alert the troops. Kami
I have it right here. It says the flavor text on Isumaru is the hound sniffed the air and let slip a low growl. General Tatsekin looked down at the faithful Isumaru and claimed him with a touch. Alert the men. The Kami are coming. Very, very good. Yeah, fuck yeah. Isumaru is the shit. Well, Matt, your number 3 and 2 are exactly in the same order my number 2 and 1.
So Athreus and then Isamaru.
Yeah. Kandorus, Hound of Athreus is my number 2. Death and Taxes dog. Come on now. Yeah, you can't pass him up. And then Isumaru, just the best good boy of all time. So good. Also, Chris Muller art. Chris Muller, Pittsburgh guy. One of the nicest artists I've ever met. He's such a sweetheart. And Isumaru is just a flawless good boy. And like a 1/1 for 2, or a 2/2 for 1 mana. Sign me up.
The legendary is what always held it back.
Yeah. I mean, but now we have the Mox Amber.
All right, homie. What's my numero uno?
It's Zodiac Dog.
No.
It's not?
It's not.
Oh, what is it?
It would be Corpse Cur.
Oh, really?
Really? I love this card.
Why?
Because I love Infect.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Limited, and this card is so goddamn good. And Triple Scars.
Oh, yeah. This card was actually pretty good. You're right.
That was fantastic. What do you mean?
You get to return a card with Infect from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card was pretty good. Yeah, Corpse Card is really good. I honestly did not know this card was a dog or a hound until I looked at the list to pick up my top 10 or my top 5.
Neither did I. And I was like, "You're a good boy. You're a good boy for the Infectors, but you're a good boy."
Just so he's a good boy in general, and
good
then also
dog.
he's
good
a
dog.
very good boy. God, fucking love dogs, man.
I saw the goodest girl ever at the dog park today.
Oh hell yeah!
It's this gorgeous pit bull, and that dog was so well behaved. Like the owner was throwing like a ball for her, and she was loving every second of it. And Ollie was like watching, and Ollie, he's only 20 pounds, and this dog was
much bigger.
Honestly, probably 2.5 times the size of Finn, like muscle
so
wise.
A very big dog.
He was a beast.
Love that.
And the owner told her to wait, and she threw the ball for Ollie, and my heart melted because the dog Kaya was her name, and she waited for Ollie to go get the ball, bring it back. Unbelievably well trained, and she was such a good girl.
I love that so much. She deserves the world.
She does.
Fuck yeah, dogs are too good.
That, sir, they are.
You know what also is too good, Matt?
What's that?
Fucking you at accumulated knowledge.
I've been real shaky as of late.
That's true. You have been off it a little bit.
Isn't it me to ask you this time?
No, I think it was. Oh wait, no, you're right.
I failed hard last time. Yeah, I failed real hard.
Oh, that's right. So you don't have to worry about blowing it.
Yeah, I blew it hard last time. So.
I have to worry about not blowing it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's way more stress than I was prepared for. I thought I was asking you.
You were like, okay, let's go. You're going down.
God damn it! Now I have to Oh boy, I just was having such a good time. Now I'm having such a fucking bad time.
This would have been a perfect time to name half the cats, but
Oh man, I'm so stressed now. Well, how about here? I
I'm
can
not doing
manage
that.
my
I'll
stress.
just do the regular. Go ahead and explain what the game.
Yeah, I'll manage my stress while I am
Explaining
reading
frantic inventory.
the game. Yeah. So every week we like to play a game called Frantic Inventory. Every week we play a game called Accumulated Knowledge. And in this game, we go to the Scryfall website. We click the random card generating button, and one of us asks the name of that randomly generated card. The other has to guess the mana cost of that card. If they get it right, they get a point. And if they don't, they never get to see a dog ever again.
Nope, I'm not doing it.
I don't know how that would work because we both live with dogs. No, but that's what's on the line. So, Matt, I guess I'm ready for my first card.
Your first card is Viashino Warrior.
Oh boy. Viashino Warrior. I know Viashino Pyromancer. I think that's a card. No, what's a Viashino one that I know? I thought the Viashino Pyromancer was like the Tuna Red. I don't know. We'll go Tuna White. I honestly don't know what this card is. The Warrior makes me think that it's white, so I'm going to go Tuna White.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, sure, because I have no idea.
Before I answer that, do you know what the Viashino are?
Aren't they like some warriors from, or like, aren't they? They're not from Kamigawa.
No, they're not from Kamigawa.
I want to say they're a core set. No, not a core set.
There are some more recently printed in a core
recall.
set. They are like lizards.
Lizards, that's what it's.
They're like lizard warriors generally.
Yeah.
But you are super incorrect. This is 3 in a red for a 4/2. That it.
Oh, sick. That's it.
When traveling the Great Desert, avoid wearing the scales of lizards, for the Viashino roll the sands and look poorly on the skinning of their cousin. Zephyrin, Guide to the Desert.
Neat. Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
Do you know what this set is just off of that? Ollie.
No.
I get
no
it,
clue.
man. Mirage.
Oh, because the desert. Sure. Okay. Yep. That makes sense.
All right. Are you ready for numero dos?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's easier than that one.
It's easier.
Okay.
Your second one is Profane Procession.
Oh, this is the it's an enchantment, right?
You tell me.
Yeah, it's from what's the pirate set?
Weatherlight.
No, okay, sure. I guess there were pirates in it. No, fuck. What's the pirate set? It's not a Corey. Ixalan. Thank you. Me. I just thanked myself for that.
Go ahead and pat yourself on the back.
It's black and white. I don't know if it's 2 black white or 1 black. Because I think it flips, doesn't it?
Would you like a hint?
No, I think it's 1 black white because I think all of those ones. I don't know. I know the black one or the black green one from that set because I just put it in the commander deck. Yeah, I want to say it's 1 white black because I saw it because I just put the black green one in a commander deck. That's like the reanimator one, and that one's 1 black green. So I'm gonna go 1 white black.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That is correct. It's 1 white black.
It exiles
Legendary
something,
enchantment. Right? Yeah, 3 white black. Exile target creature. Then, if there are 3 or more cards exiled with Profane Procession, transform it. It's a legendary land, obviously. Tomb of the Dusk Rose. Taps to add any color. And then 2 white black. Tap. Put a creature card exiled with this permanent onto the battlefield under your control.
Yeah, I almost put this in a commander deck this week, and then it just was not good enough.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a reanimator deck, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't really make much sense.
Checks out. All right. On to numero tres.
I'm 1
Ready?
and 1. Yes, I am.
Mog Sentry.
Well, it's a goblin.
What gave it away? The Sentry.
The sentry
Damn.
part. Yeah. You shouldn't have given me the entire name. I'm probably gonna ask a hint on this one because I don't actually know what it is.
Sure.
What does Mog Sentry do?
Whenever an opponent plays a spell, Mog Sentry gets +2/+2 until end of turn.
Ah, weird. Ugh.
Nobody stands in one place better than a Mog.
God, Goblin Flavor Text is so good.
They're the best, actually. Like, the actual factual best.
Well, I don't actually know what this card is, but just based on the fact that it's a goblin, I'm just going to say it's 1 red mana.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct.
Awesome. Thank you, goblins.
Yeah, for
Sick.
originally this is from Plane Shift, and this was reprinted in 8th and 9th.
Oh, sick.
It's terrible, but
Yeah, not very good.
Goddamn goblins.
Ooh, another one.
If you don't get this, I'll never speak to you. Siege Gang Commander.
Siege Gang Commander. What, he was most recently printed in Dominaria? Right? Was that the set that he was most recently printed in? I think it was. He's 3 and 2 red. He makes 2 1/1 goblins when he comes in, and then you can what is it? Pay 1 in a red, sack a goblin, deal 2.
Is that your final answer?
Did I say no? He makes 3 goblins, doesn't he?
I was about to say I was gonna fucking make you lose that one.
No, yeah, he makes 3 goblins.
Yeah,
he good.
That's correct.
Siege Gang's nuts. When was he recently printed? Was it Dom?
Dominator.
Okay, cool.
There's a game night promo of him too, but I don't know what the fuck that.
Well, I'm pretty sure the most recent printing has to be Dom.
Yeah, it is.
It's good.
Was that 5 or was that 4?
That was 4. I got 1 more, but I also won, so I'm happy with it.
Oh, Urza's mine. You don't get that one.
Hey, that's a land.
Fuck is this card? Sure. All right. Telethopter.
Telethopter.
Telethopter. It's like helicopter, but
But a telethopter. I'm going to go rapid fire round. It's 4 colorless.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
Go fuck yourself.
Did I nail it?
Yeah.
Yo, yes, I did.
All these obscure artifacts are either 3 or 4 mana.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, it doesn't actually matter to me at all.
You got it, bud.
I can't believe that.
This is a 4 mana artifact creature Thopter. It is 3/1. Tap an untapped creature you control. Telethopter gains flying. And it's from Tempest. It's horrible.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before in my entire life. I cannot believe that I just fucking pre-balled that one.
You just fired that sucker off and you got it.
So sick. Rapid fire action, baby.
You did it. You got it. You're the winner.
Fuck yeah.
Ollie snores.
Oh, I'm so stoked.
There's going to be so much Ollie snoring in the recording.
I'll see what I can do about it.
Just let it happen. He's a good
Yeah, this is okay. If the theme is going to be good boys, then Ollie is good boy.
Ollie, you're internet famous.
Oh, look at that, Oliver. Yeah, internet famous for the Fetch and Shock audience. All 6 people are going to be like, I know what Ollie sounds like when he snores.
Start a truck, has diesel fuel, and you know what he's. He's like on the other couch, too.
Holy shit. What a loud motherfucker.
Dude, Lauren legitimately blames me for snoring.
And it's him.
I think a lot of the times it's actually him, because I don't snore loud.
Well, you know who does? Oliver, the dog. God, I love that.
So,
well, Matt, I got a shout out, bud.
Yeah, he's shouting out.
I got to shout out somebody that I have already shouted out a million times, but I don't think we've ever officially shouted him out.
Ryan Pancake.
You nailed it. It's exactly right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 1000%. Yeah, I want to shout out I think this might be our first Magic artist that we've shouted out this entire time, which is wild, the amount that we talk about art.
Well, we also random shout-outs through episodes.
That's true, but this is our first official Magic artist shout-out, and it is for the Ryan Pancoast, undisputed GOAT of Magic art. You can find him at rpancoast_art on Twitter, and on his Twitter, you can expect to find, just pictures of his art. Most recently, he has some pictures of some color studies he did for Ugin that are on smaller pieces of board that I believe
$40,000 instead of 45.
I don't know if they're that much, but the color studies you can actually bid on. They're on the MTG Art Market Twitter right now. They're about the size of like a book, so like maybe like 8 inches, 6 inches, or something like that. One of them is already $1,500. The other one is $600.
Like, I would love to own some of that stuff. I just don't ever want to pay for it.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm like completely cool with just getting.
That's the thing with Pancoast art. I'm lucky that I got a piece from him when I did, because that was when he was like relatively unknown.
Yeah, before
now
he blew up.
He is doing such high profile works that all of his stuff is going for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I am just like unbelievably lucky I got a piece when I did.
Does he do anything outside of like Magic art?
He does a ton of stuff outside of Magic.
Okay, like I knew some of the artists like they strictly do Magic art, but then some other ones are like
he does
different video games, and
he does a lot of just generic high fantasy stuff. Also on his Twitter, when you go follow him, because you're all going to, he does also like signal boost a lot of other like small artists and post their work and just like get stoked on art. So if you don't only want to see great art from him, but just great art in general, Pancoast is the guy to follow.
Cool.
And every so often, he'll also post videos of him painting some of like, I believe there's one for Ugin, and it's just a time lapse of him painting Ugin. And I could live off that shit. That is like doing crack. It is so good watching that shit.
Doesn't he also do like a bunch of charity shit? Like he'll have stuff and say, hey, like this is bidding and everything goes to
I think,
charity
yeah,
XYZ.
on occasion he has done stuff like that for sure. Yeah.
A lot of those guys and gals, folks who are just good at art, they tend to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, turns out magic artists, 10 out of 10 people.
In addition to Pancoast, you should share the link for that place to buy like prints and.
Oh, the original magic art store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. Also, we can just do that on an episode. Maybe next week. That'll be a little tag for next week. We can go a little bit deeper on some of the art things that we like in Core Set 2021, and also highlight where you can go and buy prints and stuff.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
There you go, little teaser. Somebody reach out to us on Twitter, right around like 4:00 Eastern Standard Time next week, and say, hey, remember to talk about the art stuff. So then we'll remember to talk about it, and then we'll do that next week.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Perfect.
We may or may not have Corey next week as well.
Oh, that's very true. Depending on how things work out with our schedule and his schedule, we might have a special guest, Corey, next week. But until then,
not very special, but yeah.
I mean, a middling special guest.
4 out of 10.
But until
4
then,
out of 10, Dennis.
Dennis recommended Corey. Chew on Corey.
I give up.
God damn it! Let me do our fucking plug. No, wait! I got a plug.
Oh shit!
Oh, fuck. Go to the Twitter, Fetch_Shock. If you want to follow Matt, go to @It'sBop. If you want to follow me, @BasicLandBin. Go to the Discord. The link is on our Twitter and also in the description for this podcast. Okay, fucking see you later now.
Peace!
I fucking banned.
I completely forgot about the plug.